See, I'm writing them down now.
Okay, this is an open meeting of the Berlin Historical Commission on Friday. It is now 11:10 on Friday, January 20th. Present Barry and Janet and Ellie and June. We really have just one piece of business, and then I would like your feedback on scheduling what's to come. Barry, you want to talk about the demo permit for 136 Central Street?
Yeah. I have provided you with a copy of the demolition delay bylaw this morning. And the key thing, if we go to section 3, the procedure, if a demolition permit application is for a building which is 50 or more years old, the building's historical significance will be determined by the commission within 14 days of the commission's receipt of the application. We received it on Monday,
The night.
over a week ago, and so the 14 days will be up this coming Monday. The commission will notify the building inspector, town clerk, and applicant in writing of its initial determination. If the building is not determined to be significant, the building inspector may issue a permit to demolish and so on. If the building is determined to be significant, the commission shall hold a public hearing within 30 days of this initial determination, and to determine whether the demolition will be detrimental to the historical, cultural, architectural heritage of the town. And it gives the notice and so forth. That determination of historical significance is therefore the first action, and that's what we're here to do today, is deal with that one. If we agree to that, then we schedule a public hearing. We hold the public hearing, and within 15 days of the closing of the hearing, we can determine whether he can, whether it goes forward or whether we put on a 6-month delay. Now, fortunately, the present owner has, based on our visit the other day, we got plenty of time. And we've always advocated apply early, because then you've got time to do the process before you necessarily hold you up. Now, the big thing that the public hearing determines is how much the public is interested. We've already if we determine that it's historically significant, the real question is how much does the public care about that? And so that's what the public hearing is for. And we've had a public hearing where we had 20, 30 people here. That's terrible, etc. And other times,
No one
nobody.
shows up.
And that kind of indicates that chances are you're not going to put the delay on. You have no public interest. Now, there are more things and more definitions and stuff to deal with, but we don't need to deal with those now. The big thing is to decide its historic significance. The second document I've given you, the stapled sheets, is my list of owners and occupants and so forth, which is followed by deed references, and then finally tax valuations for various years that are available. And that kind of gives a pretty good history of the place. I think personally that this is a very significant building, mostly because its contemporaries of a similar sort do not exist. There are very few. that are of this age, which are as simple as this house is. It's incredibly simple and plain. And I think it's exemplary of probably a number that were in the town that have either been so much modified as not to be recognizable, or that have been, done away with years ago and replaced with something better. I was impressed going through the house with the fact that, to me, I don't think it's been altered very much. I think it's remarkably in the shape that it was in when it was young, and that the people that have lived in it and so forth they haven't made as many modifications than it is most houses of an age like that have had. And that's why I think it's significant in particular. The people that owned it and lived there are not overly significant. Israel Sawyer was there for 40 years. He was a shoemaker. He had a workshop across the street from the house on a postage stamp of land. And he was, as I say, he was there for just about 40 years. We do have one older photograph of the house, which I'm not sure where it is now, but I know David found it in the house when he was cleaning the house out, prior to the time that the lightning strike happened, or in that period. The problem with the house is the lightning strike and all that, and the damage from it.
When was that? More or less?
2008 or 9.
Oh, okay.
That's what Jerry was referring to when we were talking to him the other day. And I mean, I remember when it happened, and it was, oh my gosh, and there's but minor bits of damage on the outside of the house in 4 or 5 places all over it. And I have to say, I think it's going to be a hard one to preserve. But I do think it's worthy of holding a public hearing on. And we haven't held a public hearing on anything for quite a while, so I think it really is important to go through that exercise at least and see what we hear from people. The other thing is that its location is on a main artery. It's very visible, and it's not imposing because it's such a simple, plain house. Most of the ones that are as old as this or similar to this that exist are little ones, story-and-a-half houses, smaller things. This one is unusual in that regard as being a 2-story house. An awful lot of the small houses like this one were modified later, almost in the period this one was built, and sometimes a bit later, by adding another set of rooms on the back side and making it a much bigger house. And this one hasn't had that kind of a thing done to it. At any rate, that's a shot at it, and it gives you some history about it and gives some sense of
It's great to have
the
all
ownership
this.
and stuff
Yeah.
running along.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
Would there be any probates we could go after? I didn't really...
Probably, but
Oh, the last time.
the main ones that I would see are going to be Mrs. Marbles and Eva Toby's,
Yeah,
and those are recent.
okay.
And we
It's-
pretty much know what those are about, so.
Yeah. It's the old ones that are
Yeah,
interesting.
it's the old ones.
Yeah.
And the ones for when Israel Sawyer died, okay. 1885, A. Augustus Sawyer, administrator for the estate of Israel Sawyer, to Alonzo F. Green, $1,100 at auction. That might be interested, but the thing is, there is a deed done by the administrator which refers to the estate, so therefore, we've kind of covered that one.
There might be an inventory that would be,
There could be,
if it was administered, they
Yeah.
would have to have,
yeah, yeah.
whether it would give us much information is,
Yeah, that's
we
the
don't
thing,
know.
I just don't know that.
yeah.
I just don't know that. But, and this house is also older than its neighbors. The houses on either side are 1850s or later. So, at any rate, that's some dope on that. So we have to decide whether it is historically significant. Make that determination today.
So basically, if we do have a hearing, it allows other people in town to participate. And it seems like, I mean, we have to trust you on this because, and June, you know a lot about this too. Maybe Ellie does too.
Well, you've sat in on a couple of these before, haven't you?
Oh, yeah.
The interesting thing the two things that I see that relate to this house is, one, we know that he wants to build a barn. He has to get that barn up first, then he has to get everything out of the house. So time is available. Whatever we say now, it's not going to happen right away. And the other thing is, what he's interested in doing is, this doesn't really focus on the house, this focuses on that piece of land. What he's interested in doing is a barn. I mean, it's not like he wants to put in, 5 houses or something. Now, I mean, we can't stop him from doing that, but he needs a barn. So in terms of the landscape and the
site.
saving of open spaces and agriculture, that would happen. It would make it easier for him to stay in agriculture, actually. So the option isn't quite as, now, other people would say that's grim because they're not interested in that. I'm interested in keeping open spaces and promoting farming, so it wouldn't break my heart as much if we lost the house as if they were going to start to develop that piece of land.
Sure.
And I just throw that in there, which really, it has to be taken into
The piece of land
consideration.
is not, I don't believe, is big enough to make 2 house lots.
But does that mean a barn?
2 house lots.
Yeah, okay,
He's already built a new house on the property.
yeah.
If this building were to stay, it couldn't be the house. But,
Oh, yeah, see your
it's,
point.
yeah,
Yeah.
and so there's not room enough to make, I mean, the 200 feet frontage for each lot, and the 3.5 acres isn't 4 acres and so forth, so that it doesn't work to break it up under present zoning. But yeah, that's another consideration. And as I say, he's given it enough time, so we've got time to go through the process and not
Yes.
Not
upset
hold
his
him up,
plans too
yeah.
much. At any rate, I may move that we declare this property to be historic,
Just-
come on, I want the right words that I've used for this before. This building is, we determine that this building is significant, historically significant in the town of Berlin.
Right, can I say that back to you, make sure I get that right?
Yep.
Okay. Barry moves to declare that we have determined,
No, to determine that the building is significant.
Barry moves to determine that building, and what is it, 136?
Yeah, 136.
Shall I put that in there? The building, to be historically significant.
To be Yeah, to be
I just-
declared, yeah. to be-
Yeah, I took the declare out because the second time he took
Oh,
that
oh.
out. But, so I said Barry moved to determine that the building at 136, what is it, Central?
Yeah.
Be considered historically significant or what?
No, that it is historically
that
significant.
Is, yes, very good, is historically significant. Okay, Barry moved to determine that the building at 136 Central Street is historically significant.
I second the motion.
And so Barry, and then June seconds. See how careful I'm being after last week's experience.
So all those.
Okay.
Anything
is
to be
it-
said on the
yeah,
motion?
Yeah, is there anything more to be said? I guess I would like to, in your communications that come out of this, to reiterate those good reasons that you
Oh.
summarized for us. And so that the family knows we are being diligent. You know,
Yeah.
we're exercising due diligence. And
I would also suggest in that that it be indicated, we realize the building has some condition issues.
yeah.
I
Okay.
mean, those would be things stated in our discussion prior
Yes.
to the motion.
So we have a vote.
Yep.
Barry,
All right,
Janet,
Aye.
and Ellie,
Aye.
and June, aye. Vote is unanimous to declare 136 Central Street historically significant. And Barry, you'll follow up with the communications?
Yep. Now, we have to set a public hearing. First notice at least 14 days before, second notice at least 7 days before, and post notices for a period of at least 14 days before the hearing, and mailing a notice of hearing to the applicant at least 7 days before the hearing, and so forth. We have to hold the public hearing within 30 days of today, of our vote that we did today. Now,
But no earlier than 14 days.
yeah, no earlier than 14.
So
Yeah,
you have
because we got to
basically
get it in the
a 2-week
paper by
period.
14 days ahead. Now, is anybody reading the item these days?
I get it.
Is it coming on Fridays still?
It's supposed to come on Friday.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get it Tuesday or Wednesday of the next week.
Yeah. But it's still coming out on Friday, so we
Yeah.
can use that as our date of publication.
Yeah.
We have been using that as the place to advertise because it's a lot cheaper.
Well, and it's also local.
And it's also very local. I mean, if you put it in the Worcester paper, you're gonna pay a lot more money to do the ads. You do them there and there.
Yeah, and people
Chicken
in
feed.
Shrewsbury and Auburn don't care.
Yeah. No. Oh, no, no.
That's true.
No, no. So that would be my suggestion, is that we set it for a Friday. You can make it in the daytime or in the evening, however you want to make it. And you set it so that it's, we've got plenty of time to get it in the paper. Usually you need to get it, well, it used to be you had to get them in 4 days ahead or something, but nowadays it may be even longer. So we'll work on that, but, so if we look at a calendar now, I got one.
It's the 20th.
Yeah. This is the 20th.
Next Friday is the 27th, so if we get it in the paper on the 27th,
Anybody need the
then the
calendar?
earliest you could do it would be
Yeah.
February.
I think that's January.
Earliest we could do it would be the 10th, which is our regular historical commission meeting. We
You
could
want-
hold that hearing as part of the
Do you
regular
wanna do it
historical
then?
commission meeting. Which is normally a 10 in the morning meeting.
Yeah, we could change the time if you want.
Yeah.
Do we try to do it not during the workday? So more
Do it in
people
the
can come?
evening?
We've done, I guess all the ones I've ever been to are in the evening,
We've usually had them in the evening.
yeah.
But that also is tight in that we've got to get it in the paper by next Friday, and we don't know what the deadlines on the paper are. You can set the thing, but if it doesn't get in the paper by the 27th, then it's no good to you. I tend to think maybe what we ought to do is go another week out, say the 17th of February with it, and then we've got a little more time to make sure it'll fit in the paper. We haven't done any business with them for a while. I don't even know whether they've got the business office in Clinton anymore.
They're owned, the ownership is different now,
Yes.
Well,
but,
they
I
reinstated
think they
the
did.
yes,
editor.
can't remember her first name.
It starts with a G, the last name starts with a G. I think.
Gets, yeah, Goodsman. Yeah. I can see her face, but I can't.
Yeah, I tend to suggest we have it on the 17th at, I don't know, 7:30 PM or something.
Friday night at 7:30.
Yeah.
On the 17th.
That gives us a little more time to get the ad in and make sure that it is going to actually appear when it's supposed to.
7:30 on the 17th. So when do we have to
Is
get
that,
the ad in? Are we saying how far ahead?
Well,
It's gotta be 2 weeks
We try to
before
get it in
that.
for the 27th, but we don't know what the deadline is to.
Okay.
Well, actually, what we're trying to do right now is we're going to be trying to get it in on the 3rd and the 10th. We advertise it on the 3rd and the 10th for the 17th. But we're getting a little more time in there because we don't know what their publication schedule business is now. Been a while since we've tried that. So I would move that we have schedule a public hearing for 7:30 PM on the 17th of February
All right.
At
Get that
7:30.
down.
at 7:30 PM.
okay,
Second the motion.
all those in favor?
All right,
Aye.
Aye.
All right, I'm going to
Any
get this the way you
opposed?
said
No.
it, Barry. Move we have a public hearing on,
February 17th at 7:30 PM.
Friday,
on Friday.
February 17th.
February 17th at 7:30.
Motion to hold a public hearing for 136 Central Street on February 17th, 7:30 PM is unanimously approved.
I did not write all that detail in this. Is that all right with you? I just moved to have a public hearing Friday, February 7th PM.
But we did vote to have it then.
Yeah.
Okay, but whoever's writing up the,
Yep.
who is going to write this up?
Well,
I don't trust myself because I've never done one of these
I think
before.
Barry, originally I asked him if he would take over the demo delay,
Yeah.
so
You know the right words to use.
So,
he.
Use nice
I
words
think
now.
he'll do that for us.
well, I always remember about the first one we ever held. It was the biggest one we ever had, and it was over the Tyler House. And we had a whole bunch of people here, and I was, and for whatever reason, Louise Woodhead was on the commission then. Oh, let me tell you, was she sharp for that. Managed the comments that people said.
She rescued you.
Yeah. It was very interesting.
Yeah.
Very interesting. You know, it
That's
just
neat.
kept the anchor down so that
Yeah.
Yeah.
everything went well.
It went smoothly, yeah.
But
Yeah.
you've done so many town meetings, that you're a good
Well, yeah, but
candidate for
not
these
that
things.
much where she, you know, she was one of the board watching it, you know,
Yeah,
handling
yeah.
it, but she was, oh, it was just great.
Yeah, good.
Okay, so we'll work on that and all the communications that relate to it and get those out.
Who seconded that one? You did, Jim?
Ellie,
Ellie did.
Ellie did, yeah.
Yeah. So I think we're done with that one for today.
The only other thing I wanted to ask you is if you want to schedule some kind of discussion of our engineer's report. I mean, we could wait till Dan can meet with us on Zoom and do it all at once, but that maybe doesn't give us as a commission time to talk
I
about
think
it.
we need to talk about it, so.
And
I need to, I can't find the thing.
oh,
It didn't come out with the, I mean, I don't know when it came, but maybe I missed getting it, but
When were you thinking that Dan might come?
well, he said the beginning of January, but he's
Would it be good to have him at the meeting when we talk about the three options?
well, I think we can do it two ways. We can wait and just try to schedule something for him not too far ahead. Or we can schedule a meeting in which we discuss it ourselves as a commission before we meet with him. Barry would like to, has expressed an interest in discussing it as a commission first. But I'm open to either way.
yep.
Barry, did you get my email, which was a forward from Tom Lamb? I asked him a specific question.
Yes, I saw that.
Okay, so
And I thought this was attached to it, but it wasn't.
I sent it to you
Because you sent that
separately.
separately, and I don't find that.
It's okay, you
email.
can
It
just have
came,
that.
what, 2 days ago, 3 days ago?
No, Tom Lamb's, oh, you mean the
You
This latest one,
the
yes.
reply?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was when, well, no, Thursday, well,
Wednesday, maybe, Tuesday, Wednesday?
yeah. Well, I didn't even send him the question until
Yeah,
I
Wednesday.
saw it, and I was reading it, and I don't remember, it was
Yeah.
before yesterday, because
Yes,
we had
yes,
talked about it
yes.
yesterday.
I think Wednesday at some
Wednesday?
point he answered. He answered right away, which I thought was,
Yeah, that was good.
yeah.
I was surprised.
Because that, you know, I invited everyone to ask questions, and I did wait a bit, but that was a very pressing question on my mind, and I really wanted it clarified before I
We decided
thought too
to-
much more about the rest of it.
Yeah,
So-
that was the number one question, I
Yeah,
think,
is
for
it
all of
gonna
us.
be
probably.
significant
Is it going to wreck
damage?
the house? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
well, the real problem is, unless they know what our real issues are, they can't answer it. Because when I talked to Dan about that, when he was here one day, he got the point. And that is that we have that brand-new chimney that we put in for the fireplaces. And the wall in the parlor, where the chimney is, the wall is the chimney. And the wallpaper is on a skim coat, a thin coat of plaster on top of concrete blocks. And there's no way that they aren't gonna break that wall up if they raise the house. And then in the entrance room, we did the steel girder overhead in the middle of it to support the upstairs room. And that comes down to piles that are in the ground. They're not attached to the house, they're in the ground.
I think we talked to him about that when we were doing the walkthrough.
I don't know. But that's the other, that's another place that if you pick the house up, what's gonna happen? And there's a similar thing with the supports for the bathroom that that we had
Tommy Doolittle.
Door do. That floor is supported separately from the house frame. So when you pick up the house, those things don't necessarily go with it. Those are my concerns about that whole business.
Well, those are refinements that need to be,
Yeah,
you need to ask those questions
yeah,
to the engineer, and if he,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I can ask them for you, but you would
yeah.
express them a little bit better than I would, because I wasn't around.
I mean, some of the stuff that we've done has not necessarily been done conventionally, because of the particular situations there. And I just hate to lose that.
Well, I think that they're the experts, so we ask the question and they get
Yeah.
it back to us.
And the other thing is we haven't seen the costs. I mean, we do have to take that into consideration,
Oh, yeah.
too.
Yeah.
So that may help with the decision or not help with the
No, I'm
decision.
not.
Well,
Yeah.
I would suggest that you ask Tom those questions before we meet to discuss the,
All right.
Could,
because otherwise, we're going to just spin our wheels and not
Sure.
have enough information.
That's right.
just for the convenience for us of not, trying to do so many things all at once, is it possible for us to meet first, rather than have somebody individually have to try to talk to, figure out what the questions are?
Well, those questions that Barry has
Yeah.
raised are, to me, need to be answered before we have a discussion.
Before we even
Yeah.
have a discussion?
I
Yeah.
think
But
so.
don't we need to have an opportunity to get our questions to each other? You want us to do that?
Well, if you've got other questions, sure.
Yeah, well, yeah, we can.
And so who are we sending them to? I mean, rather than,
Well, that's why I wanted them all to.
That's why she asked for them in the first
Yeah.
place.
okay, so this isn't a meeting that was going to go very long, so we can't really brainstorm them here, but it feels to me like we're missing the brainstorming and what our concerns are and what, or,
Well, I think
If we
that's
have any
where
leanings.
June had sent hers off. She's asking Barry to send his off because his are very specific.
okay, so you want to just do it by email?
Well,
I mean, that's fine with me. I just wanted to make sure that we had a chance to get our questions out there before.
Well, if you two
Before
have
the end.
questions, why don't you send them to me?
Okay, so we'll do it that way.
And I will, and
I will.
and then
That's a
if
good-
Barry could do the same, fine, but I think his questions are, he could send, his own email, because his questions are pretty significant.
And are we sending them to one of us, and then they'll send them all to him, or are we sending them
If
to him
if you-
individually?
to
If
her.
you and Ellie would send me your questions, I'll forward them to
I'll try to
him.
draft mine, too.
And if Barry is ready, we can attach that.
I don't think I have any questions
Okay,
beyond what you
so
guys have already.
Janet might have questions, and Barry
I think I have
definitely.
a couple,
Okay,
not like you guys.
okay.
Now, that works for me. I just was trying to make sure I knew how this was going to move forward, and I understand.
Well, it's just
now.
a consideration for his time.
Yes,
and-
definitely.
And the kind of money we spend.
Well, and for our time, too, because what this means is
Oh,
we're
I
not
know.
going to have a meeting to write down the questions. We're just going to do it from the comfort of our own home.
Yeah, I think-
Which I think this can be handled that way.
Yeah, I think so too. Because we've had a lot of meetings, and I think people feel a little overburdened.
Have you got this electronically? Yeah, you must have this electronically.
Yeah, I sent it to you. But you couldn't print it?
I never saw it.
Was it an
That doesn't-
attachment? It had to be an
It may
attachment.
be because something bounced back or something, I don't know.
Sometimes
Would you
your
rather
mailbox
just
is full.
Of course.
Many times your mailbox is full.
Can you
Yes,
guys
and
get
many
with the
times I go and I work at cleaning it out, and the next thing I know, it's full again.
You know,
just-
if you
this is
want to
where-
keep Juno, you can up your capacity, but you have to pay for it, I think.
I should be working on getting a different one to use anyway.
Barry, you just need to reply
so
to
many
people.
things.
It's just that I'm so popular,
Yeah.
I can't stay ahead of all my emails.
Yes.
And it's hard, I'm not a
Well,
good
as soon as
computer
and you get,
person.
I got one about the silly old file cabinet things that are in the other room here.
Are they still there?
Yeah, or they were as of a day or two ago. But I
Do
took
we-
the one out of there I wanted to take out, and the other two were there, and I said, "You can dispose of them." But that one photograph
Yeah, plugged up.
made a huge file.
Yeah. It wasn't resized, I don't think.
They sent out something that was a raw photograph, and it was a huge file, and boom, everything's up. I had to delete it just to get my box back, you know? And you just don't, I mean, things like that aren't consistent. They're just whatever somebody sends.
People don't think about it. Just-
No, they don't think about how it affects you, and, oh God, I've got somebody out west, the west coast that sends me stuff about boats, and sometimes they're just enormous files, there's one photograph.
Some people don't know how to resize.
Oh, I don't either.
Well, it's not that hard, but,
No, if you're used to doing it, it isn't,
Yeah.
but,
well, is there any other
How's my time?
business
I
that
gotta
we
go.
want to
So,
talk about?
we have a meeting scheduled for the 10th.
yeah.
February 10th is our next meeting.
Did you want to schedule one before then to discuss it, or you want to wait till we get answers from Tom?
I think that makes sense.
Can we,
Can you take the rest of the notes for me? Because I have to go,
Yeah,
I've got another
sure.
meeting I have to be at. And
Yep.
that one I need to get to on
Yep.
time.
That's okay.
I could solve the problem, I move we adjourn.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Adjourned at
Barry, who's second? Who's
11:49.
second?